Hi everyone, it's Marianne again. So I want to show you some resources you can use to bring into the classroom to help get some numbers or collect some data. This is one of my favorites. It's PhET Interactive Simulations. It's from the University of Colorado at Boulder. And there's a whole bunch of you can browse through. There's a whole bunch of math ones, chemistry, or science. They're really good. I'm just going to show you one. Let's say, where is the one I wanted to look at? Oh, I did want to look at this one. I don't know how I got there. But masses in spring. So here's what they're like. You just click on them. Hopefully it'll load. So we're just going to select stretch. Okay. So they're pretty basic, but you can have kids, like if you don't have tools, like if you don't have springs, like science teachers, we have the spring balances and we have weights. But if you don't, you can set up some kind of experiment where you want kids to collect numbers. And let's say we put like the 100-gram weight on this spring. And there's spring strength 1, spring strength 2. So there's 2 springs. Are they the same? Like if they look exactly the same. So I can change the strength of these, but I don't want to do that right now. So I'm thinking of ratios and proportions because that's what we were kind of looking at. So I'm thinking, if I put 100-gram weight on this spring and it goes to like 63 centimeters if it's stretched, if I put the 50-gram weight on, will it, So I think I have to go like unstrength, stretch length. So see, I'm processing too. I haven't done this one. So maybe it stretched to from like, let's say 45 to 55. I'm just going to be really rough here. And then would this be double from 45 to, yeah, almost. So it's like, I'm thinking, okay, if you double the mass, will you double the stretch? So these are really good, and you can make up your own, whatever you want the kids to do, or they can make up their own. Obviously, there's unknowns here, so based on like strength, you could decide, what mass this is based on like how far it's stretched. You could change the strength. So I don't know where it started, somewhere down there. But we'll put there you go. So now, and again, I don't know where I started with the simulation, probably right about there, okay? So they can see the effect. So you could change a bunch of variables. So you can create independent variable, dependent variable, graph these data, do a lot of different things with these numbers. The problem with PhET is there are no student guides that go with these. So these were always my, I have to create like the Google documents that like the packets that go. So literally for middle school students, when I teach 7th grade, I have to write out everything, like click on this. So one thing is the Screencastify, the videos really help because I can just then create a video and show them exactly what I want them to do. And then like they can create a data table or I can create the data table depending on what practice we're working on and have them, collect specific data, or kids can decide what they want to do. But these online simulations are really cool. So if you haven't seen PhET before, I want you, like this is one of them that you can explore and go through them. Find one that you really, really like and present it to the rest of us, and even like think about how you would use that in your classroom. There's some real high level ones, but there's all different ones. Okay, that's one resource. This is my all-time favorite. So they're called Gizmos by Explore Learning, but you have to pay for these and they're expensive. We pay like $3,000 for 700 and some students at our school. And every student has access to them without a time limit. So I didn't log in here because I want you to see what it's like. So you get 5-minute preview. So I have kids who don't they get their username and password at the beginning of the year, but sometimes they forget. But these are amazing, and they come with packets like Google Documents that like the lesson info. So this is one of my favorites, like the distance time graphs, because again, we do potential and kinetic energy. So you're going to just see, you launch the Gizmo, and under lesson info, there's a Google document where it's already broken down. Let's see if it'll let me open it without being logged in. Make a copy. I don't think it's going to let me make the copy without being logged in. Oh, maybe it is. It is. And the really cool thing about these is that they're differentiated already. So it always starts with some like prior knowledge questions, and then a warm up. So they get used to the Gizmo warm up. And then activity A is, hard, not too hard, but B is harder and C is more difficult. There's always, levels. So if you want to only assign, like, let's say certain students will just do the front part and activity A, but other students would do front part, activity A and B. And then for students who you want to, challenge a little more, have them do activity C. But the way these work is they're simulations, so it tells you exactly what to do. But let's say here I just increase the number of points and I change this. You'll see I'm going to run it. So the graph shows you what the runner's doing, or the runner shows you what's happening with the graph. So for example, from 0, so I really kind of messed this up here, but let's add in all 10. So if I made this easier to see, like, so this is seconds. So from 0 to 1 second, the runner moved like 20 meters. And then I can have them going backwards. So now the runner is going to go. So if the runner starts at 0 and then ends at 10 meters, it's going to end right there. But how do they get there? So let's reset. So it looks like they're going to run from 0 to 20 meters, then go backwards to like 8 meters, then go to 40, then go backwards to 8, then back to 40. So this runner will be running back and forth. So, and we'll see. Okay. So all of the simulate, like, so these are really good, but Gizmos has a whole bunch of these. And you can just search by grade and topic. And so I'm usually in here. So let's just under physical science, there's all of these. If you want to do, I love, well, that's speed and velocity is what I looked on up. But let's, like sled wars is another favorite one. This is potential kinetic energy. There's all different ones. And then other teachers have posted resources down here. If you can purchase them or have some money in your budget, they're well worth it. PhET is free, but it doesn't come with all those supporting, like the lessons and all the documentation that supports. And then the third resource that I want to show you is Science Buddies. This is incredible. Like if you haven't seen this source, you want to come here. So if you're looking for, let's say you're a math teacher and you just want to collect some data and get some numbers for something, you could look up in any one of these. And if I were a math teacher and I was looking for something in science, I would pick my favorite science. I love chemistry. So just scroll through here and try to think of like, oh, what makes ice melt the fastest? Collect a lot of numbers with that. A lot of these you just need simple equipment for. Science Buddies is what we use when we have our 7th graders do science projects if they're struggling to get ideas. Some of them require more, higher level equipment, but a lot of these are pretty simple. Bath bomb science, like you could have kids make bath bombs, it's pretty easy. And then look at like how does temperature of the water affect the amount of time it takes for them to dissolve. So Science Buddies is another really cool resource that you can use just to get some ideas if you want to have kids collect some data. But I want to show you why this is such a great resource because of these tabs. So most projects, not every single one, has a summary, right? It tells you like the difficulty, how long it takes, the cost, but there's always this background like information part with vocabulary and then back the sources. But look at this, like materials, but procedure, they usually have like step-by-step procedures with pictures. So it's really easy to reproduce, and they give you sample data tables. So it's a lot of times I retype and make it my own, but always cite the source. And then there's always a make it your own part where you can do a variation of the experiment that they're saying here. But this involves just like adding different materials. It looks like sugar, salt, sand, and the control is not adding anything and just timing how long it takes ice to melt. Or measuring the amount melted, it looks like, and then calculating percentage melted. Oh, I picked a good one. This was totally by accident. But like if you're looking at percentages in math, like why not do something where you're like make it authentic for kids? So not just calculating percent. I know you don't, you do a lot of really cool things in math, but this is just an easier way. So now you're on the STEM path where you're integrating science and math, but again, and technology, because if you're using tools to measure or like a stopwatch, it's still technology. A pencil is technology, like we've said before, but it's the engineering piece. So, and there's ways we can turn this into like add the engineering piece. But I would argue, while this is like I'm calling this class like we're taking an integrated STEM approach, I think, the integrating the science and math is a great start. So I've said that before, so I'm not going to just keep beating that drum. So these are the three. I think I only have 3 resources. These 3 that I want you to look at right now. Okay, thank you.